He wants to be in the video. He really wants to be in the video. I got my head out the sunroof. I'm blasting our favorite tunes. I only got one thing on my mind. You got me stuck. Hello, what is up everyone? My name is Andrea. If you don't know me, you should go ahead and subscribe to stick around for more videos and join our little family we have here. Anyway, today, you already know what we're doing, so let's just get into it. I'm going to share with you guys the best books that I read in 2022. These are 5 of the best books. Well, 6 of the best books because there's one honorable mention that I read, and they're all so good. 5 stars, love them, so you kind of have to read them. Also, I'm doing these in chronological order of when I read them, so yeah, none of them are better than the other ones. I don't know, I could probably rank them, but I just kind of love all of them, so we're just gonna do it like that. First one is this one, Morning Star by Pierce Brown. I read this one in 2021. It was my first read that I finished of the year last year, and I love it so much. Okay, this book, first of all, you know I love Red Rising. Y'all know this. Y'all just know. So, whenever I got to Morning Star, I was like, how's it gonna end? How's this trilogy gonna wrap up? Is it gonna be, the best thing ever? Well, it was, okay? Because it honestly left me with all the feels. It was such a great ending, and it pretty much kind of closed a chapter, but I know there's still 2 more books, and he's writing another one, so we're going into, phase 2, basically. We had phase 1, we finished off that nice, pretty trilogy, and now we're on phase 2. But, look, as you can see, I have marked off a bunch of these little, I don't even know, I dog-eared the bottom of the pages because those are all pages that meant something to me. Look how many that is. That's almost every other page. So if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what will. But if you haven't read Red Rising or heard of it, I don't know how you haven't, unless you've been sleeping under a rock or you just haven't been on my channel. Well, welcome, and I'm going to tell you what Red Rising is about very quickly. So, Red Rising is a science fiction adult fantasy series that takes place on Mars. In this futuristic world, the colonization of all the people of Earth have moved to Mars, and they are separated by colors or different kind of ranks in this society, and we are following Darrow, who is a red. And we just figure out that there is a lot about this world on Mars that Darrow does not know and his fellow Reds do not know. A catalyst event kind of happens where Darrow is thrown into a very tumultuous time. He is thrown into a very depressive state, and that triggers him into kind of being able to shed his old self and taking on a new form, and also uncovering a lot of secrets. So that's what Red Rising is about, being as vague as I possibly can because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I don't want you to know that much going in because it's just so good. Just trust me. Just go. Just read it. Just do it now. But that's Morning Star. It was a 5-star because it wrapped up the series so well, and I loved it. Next one I read, I believe in March, is when this one came out. Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. Look at this giant bad boy. I love it. I love it. It's so huge. It can knock a man out, and we love that in our books. So, Chain of Iron is the 2nd book in the Last Hours trilogy, following Chain of Gold. If you aren't up to date on the Shadowhunters and everything, I'm going to try not to bore you, but let me just say, The Last Hours is a great series. It follows another series called The Infernal Devices, and these books take place in historical London, the 1800s, I think the late 1800s going into the early 1900s. I know technically the Infernal Devices is Victorian era, and then we're going into the Edwardian era in these books, in the Last Hour series. Anyway, that's not really that important. But what is important is how good this book was. Honestly, personally, I think this book blew Chain of Gold out of the water. Chain of Gold was good because I am invested in Shadowhunters. I love them. I am a Shadowhunter stan. I would die for these books. I'm gonna love them either way. Chain of Gold was so good, but it was a little bit slow, a little bit boring. I didn't say it. But Chain of Iron, on the other hand, it was filled with the angst, the drama, the tea. It literally gave me everything. It broke my heart at the end, as Cassie Clare loves to do. And it was just something that was so special to me. I cannot wait for Chain of Thorns, which is the last one in this trilogy, to wrap up the whole series. So we're just following this group of London Shadowhunters who, fight demons, fall in love, make mistakes, make big mistakes, kind of almost bring the end of the world down, kind of save the world, a bunch of stuff like that, and I just love following Shadowhunters and reading about them. It just feels like home. The series just feels like home. So, of course, Chain of Iron was a 5-star, and I couldn't not talk about it. That did not work. We're not trying that again. Nope. You're done. You're done. Anyway, next book is We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faizal. I read this one sometime in the year, I don't remember. But this book is so good. I cannot get over how good it was. Immediately a 5-star, immediately loved it. It is just insanely good. I highlighted in this book, which is something I usually do not do for first time reads because I don't know if I'm actually going to like it that much, but I just knew with this one and I actually did highlight like a bunch of times. And the reason you should read this is because it is about a girl named Zafira who is basically the huntress of her town. She like gets food for everybody, sustains everybody. She's the reason they are living. Well, on the other side of that, we have Nasir, who is the Prince of Death. He is, you know, the son of the king, of course. He's a prince. And he kills people for the king. Like, the king is like, hey, go get him. And Nasir is like, yes, sir, dad. I'm gonna go kill him for you. And, you know, that's a sad life. Nasir has a lot of problems. But anyway, the two live many miles apart, but they end up going on a journey to find the same thing. Nasir is actually trying to find the hunter, but when he's on the hunt for this item and for the hunter, he thinks that he's going to find a boy. But what does he actually find? Zafira, a very pretty girl who doesn't take shit from like anyone. So this book was just so good. It has a very rich Arabic culture that is based off of. The world was very fleshed out, beautiful. The characters were very likable. So you should definitely read this because it's a 5-star and it's so good and it's so worth it. I'm just looking at the next book and I just want to cry because You've Reached Sam is probably definitely my all-time favorite book that I read in 2021. It was a definite 5-star, and I cannot get over how good this book is. Let me tell you about it. You've Reached Sam is about a girl named Julie and a boy named Sam. They are pretty much in a relationship that has been ongoing throughout high school, and by the time we catch up to them, they are now seniors, and something happens where Sam gets in an accident and he dies. This book is heavy. It deals with grief. It hurts. It hurt my heart. It hurt my emotions. It wrecked me completely. But those are the best kind of books I find. So, anyway, Julie, bless her soul. Julie is going through a hard time, you know, and she's like, maybe I can just hear Sam's voice one more time. I can get over it. She's thrown his things out. She's done everything she could to try to forget him, but it's not working. So, she picks up the phone one day, gives Sam's phone a call, and Sam picks up. That's all. That's all you need to know. To go out and buy it and read it right now. I'm getting upset just thinking about it. I want to reread it right now again because I didn't get to read it. I got to listen to it. And now that I have the book, I know I'm going to read it again and probably cry more and highlight and annotate and just, you know, be immersed in this very, like, realistic, magical realism world. But it was just the way that the author wrote was very beautiful, and the way that Sam was written, and I just can't. It just was so good. But anyway, that was You've Reached Sam, and it was the best thing ever. Alright, this next one, it's a bit of a shocker, so put on your seatbelts and let's go, because I could not anticipate this, and I don't know why I loved it so much, but I really loved It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I had never read Colleen Hoover. I honestly low-key dissed everybody in my brain that liked Colleen Hoover. I was like, that's not even real literature. Colleen Hoover isn't even good. But then I read this one, and I can't get over how good it was and how dumb I am for thinking that I was going to hate it and judging it without even reading it. Cannot believe how good it was. Let me tell you about It Ends With Us right now. Okay. This book is about a young woman named Lily. Lily doesn't have the best upbringing, like she does, but she goes through some really tough shit. And as she gets older, she moves to Boston, she meets this neurosurgeon named Ryle, and it seems like a love at first sight. It seems like it's gonna be a great relationship. Maybe not love at first sight, but like they were intrigued by each other. So as their relationship goes on, they're falling more for each other, but people from Lily's past are resurging and old feelings are being brought up. Old things that never got really resolved are being brung up, and that includes Atlas Corrigan, who is a boy she met when she was younger and hasn't ever really stopped thinking about. I don't want to tell you too much because I didn't know anything about like the main stuff in this book, and I think the back of the book does a great job on giving the synopsis a very vague read. Like you don't actually know what is going to happen, which I mean that is the point of synopsis, but like most books will tell you like a little bit. This one doesn't tell you anything. Like what I've told you is not even getting into the meat of the book. Like you are in for a ride, but there are some trigger warnings, so if you don't want to know these trigger warnings in case you think you're kind of being spoiled, please skip like 10 seconds ahead until you see me holding up a new book. But if you do want to know the trigger warnings, here they are. The trigger warnings that I remember from It Ends With Us is sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, domestic abuse. I think that's it. very abuse-centered, heavy topic, but it's done really well, and I think that she actually handled it very good. It's important to write about, and she did it really well. So that's It Ends With Us, and I loved it. Here we go. We get the last one, the honorable mention. It actually wasn't a 5-star, so boo, you suck. I'm just kidding. It was actually really good. But it was a 4-star, but you know, it was still one of my favorites as I was thinking back on 2021. That book is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Vicious is kind of hard to explain. I'm gonna try to do it. We have these two guys in college named Victor and Eli. They get assigned this project to do because they're in like science school or whatever, and they're really smart or whatever. And I love the dark academia vibes actually. But Victor and Eli begin working on some stuff, and they realize that maybe there's a correlation between superhuman abilities and near-death experiences, and they bring that to life in a multitude of ways. And it's just a very eerie, creepy book, and we figure out why their relationship kind of goes to shit, and their experiments go very wrong. So that is what Vicious is about. It's a great dark academia vibe. Like I said, it's a very good fall book if you want to read it in the fall. But I just love Vicious. It honestly does deserve the hype it's gotten. It's really good, so you should check it out. But that's all the books that were my favorite books of 2021. Stay tuned because I will be doing a video on the worst books I read in 2021, which also has 5 books and an honorable mention. But for now, that is all I have for you guys today. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to, and leave a comment because I really do like comments. So if you want to leave anything, you can even just leave a white heart and I will know that you stayed to the end. My social media and ways to support the channel will be down below. But that's all I have to say. So if you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!